We are now on day 3 on our very first cruise on the Disney Dream. Today was the day at sea where we were traveling from Nassau in the Bahamas to Disney's private island, Castaway Cay. We sailed at what seemed like a snail's pace. This made sense because after the trip, I looked up the distance between Nassau and Castaway Cay. They're only about 118 kilometers apart, which was roughly about 73 miles for those in the US or the UK. So it wasn't really that great of a distance we had to travel. I found myself up really early today, even before breakfast at Cabanas started. The caffeinated beverages there were ready to go, so I enjoyed a hot cup of tea with the tail end of the sunrise on the open deck outside of Cabanas. Since most people were probably still sleeping at this time, I found it so serene since I was the only guest there enjoying the sunrise. This was also when I noticed the hidden Mickeys on the plastic cups. Just love these little details. This was also the time I learned that the Cabanas buffet had 2 breakfast times. The first time was from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m., serving continental breakfast items. It's your smoothies, cereals, baked goods, including Mickey waffles. I didn't go for it because I don't have much of a sweet tooth, but if you keep watching until dinner time, you're not gonna guess which dessert just knocked it out of the park for me. I was surprised too. So from 7:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. is when they start serving the hot breakfast items like your bacon, sausage, and eggs. I don't usually eat breakfast, but I got myself a small plate of mostly protein to start the day. I found the veggie omelet to be really good, but maybe it's because I was eating it on a cruise ship. After breakfast, I checked out the self-service laundry areas in each of the stateroom-only decks so I could hide some ducks. If you want to know what all these ducks are about, check out the first video where I explain it all. Since the laundry facilities are self-service, they're open 24/7. You can use your Key of the World card to pay for the washers and dryers, as well as to purchase detergents and dryer sheets if you didn't pack any. I should note that the iron and the ironing board were free to use. Since you can't bring your own iron for safety reasons, that makes sense that they're complimentary. By this time, Adam had woken up and we went to have a sit-down breakfast at the Royal Garden. Yeah, I know, I said I normally don't eat breakfast, and this happens to be my second breakfast. My magic power is my second stomach, but only on vacations. It's a mostly useless power. But I thought I showed great restraint and ordered something light. I got the power crepe, which was actually as small as it seemed and barely had any filling. But it was pretty tasty for a light snack. Adam got the same thing and had the same feelings about it. Later, there were some open houses to check out, since adults are not normally allowed. There was the Edge Club and the Vibe Club. The Edge Club is for tweens ages 11 to 14 and has a bunch of tech entertainment. The Vibe is for teens only, ages 14 to 17, and that also has a lot of video games and tech to play with. It's funny, while we were there, the teens were trying to be cool and they were swearing and stuff, and the cast members had to tell them to use Mickey language only, especially in front of the guests. I thought it was funny. If I were at this age, I would have loved these clubs. Disney definitely knows what they're doing and who they're catering to. The spaces were pretty cool. They were great places to hang out and make friends. Next on the docket was an event where I could collect a complimentary charm at Diamonds and Wishes, so I checked that out real quick and got my little charm. Getting the bracelet would require sitting in some presentation for 30 minutes, which sounded like I'd have to hear a sales pitch, so I just skipped that. Afterwards was Jack's Diaper Dash, which was hilarious. There were only 2 heats, so it went by pretty quick, pun intended. I was rooting for the baby from Massachusetts, which is where I live, but he ended up napping in the middle of the race. I totally get it though. I'd just love to do that in the middle of the day, you know, just quick snooze in the middle of a meeting or something. But congrats to this baby here, the other baby didn't stand a chance. After watching babies duke it out in a race, we had a sit-down lunch once again at the Royal Palace. Adam ordered the lemon marinated spiced cod fillet. He said it was just okay, and that the rice was kind of a letdown. I ordered the marinated Indonesian beef satay skewers, which I felt were a bit dry, but the spices were nice. The peanut dipping sauce was savory and sweet and helped with the dryness. I ordered the churrasco steak, which was cooked perfectly. It tasted great, especially with the chimichurri sauce. I wish the portions were bigger though. From Royal Palace on deck 3, we then headed up to our very first trivia experience at the District Lounge. It was for some Beauty and the Beast trivia, which I thought I knew a lot, but apparently I don't.
Wow, here we go. Question number 12 is this. What book does Belle read to the Beast in the Broadway version of the story?
I also tried to be slick and group with another pair, but between the 4 of us, we only got 14 out of 20, whereas there were 2 groups tied for the perfect score. Like, it wasn't even a contest.
How many did you get?
20 out of 20.
Once trivia was over, we went over to Buena Vista Theater to watch a showing of Wish. It's Disney's film about wishes.
Your wings can't fly, but your voices can!
It was released in 2023, but I haven't seen it yet, so I was looking forward to it and to experiencing a movie theater on a cruise ship. I thought the animation was top-notch as expected of Disney, but I didn't care for the story. If we're being honest, it felt more contrived than usual. Call me old school, but I like the older stuff way more. After the movies, we headed back to a room to rest and clean up. I changed into a yellow dress for tonight since we'll be seeing Beauty and the Beast in the evening show. Once we were ready, off we went to dinner at the Animator's Palate. I was especially excited for this for my nephews since I knew it would be an interactive show, and I wanted to see them react to it.
This is my little dude Squirt and his mate Nemo.
Dude, check it out! It's like a big human tank!
It's just part of the magic, and lucky us, we ended up at a table right in front of the screen.
Now, dudes, I'm not gonna lie to you, alright? I have never been to Boston, so dudes, tell me any tasty, righteous waves in Boston, dudes? Yeah, dudes, right, it's time. What have I been waiting for, the dudes?
Now, first things first, dudes, where are you all from?
Boston, Massachusetts!
No way, not the same place, dude! Not righteous, say dude! Righteous, that's so awesome, dudes. Now there's a little dude right in front of me, dude, in the Navy shell. Hey, dude!
I just loved that the kids loved it so much. And here's the menu in case you want to pause it and take a closer look. For our appetizers, I got the sesame crusted tuna sashimi, which was very fresh even though it was not the fatty, melt in your mouth kind. The wasabi gave it a nice zing to help open up my palate. And by recommendation of basically every single video I've ever seen about dining at the Animator's Palate, Adam and I both ordered the porcini sacchetti. These were little pasta pouches, so tiny and so cute, filled with porcini mushrooms, garlic, Swiss and fontina cheese. It basically has all my favorite things. I love mushrooms, garlic, and cheese, so I knew it would be perfect for me. And y'all, it did not disappoint. It was so creamy and delicious. I could eat this as the entree, which I guess I kinda did because I asked for a second order of the dish. You know, second order for my second stomach. For our entrees, Adam got the roasted salmon steak, which he thoroughly enjoyed. That man just loves salmon. And I got the roasted fillet of beef Wellington. Honestly, I should have gotten the herb-crusted lamb instead since the beef Wellington wasn't particularly memorable to me. I guess I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. There wasn't anything to write home about. Although, it could have been the porcini dish just overshadowing everything. It was just that tasty. I did order dessert this time, which was the cappuccino mousse, found under the no sugar added section. This was hands down my favorite dessert of the cruise. I mean, it's nothing special to look at, it's just an ugly brown block, but the textures were just so light and fluffy. It has the natural sweetness of the raspberry that cuts through the bitterness of the coffee and chocolate. This dessert was just to die for. Especially for someone who doesn't have a sweet tooth like me, it was the perfect dessert for the night. I was actually sad when I finished it. Now, if you're wondering why I never show any of Adam's desserts, he doesn't care for sweets, just like me, so he usually gets a cappuccino for dessert. I thought he really would have liked the cappuccino mousse, I just didn't want to share it. After dinner, we went back to our cabin to hang out a bit before going to see Beauty and the Beast, which was the live show scheduled that day. And we were greeted with our next towel animal. It was a bear! Or maybe it was a little beast. We also received these little tip envelopes in case we wanted to give our servers and room attendant an extra tip. I know there are already prepaid gratuities of $14.50 per night when we took our cruise, and it might turn some people off, especially if you're not used to tipping culture in the US, but I was actually looking forward to being able to give them a bit more for how much they went above and beyond. They're on a ship away from their families working to make you happy, so I think it's the least we can do to show our gratitude. Okay, I'll get off my high horse now. And as usual, since filming is not permitted in the live shows, just know that I loved it. Beauty and the Beast has a bunch of my favorite Disney songs, so you bet I was singing along. Really off key to it. I was probably disturbing other people too. I'm very sorry. So that's the end of day 3, and I will see you tomorrow.